next history video in our now kind of long and growing series of videos. Today what we're going to look at is the Germany paper and how to do some practice questions. So you could find that you're doing this in class, or you could find that this is something you can use at home. Okay? Even if you've done it in class once, it won't be a bad thing to go through again in terms of your revision. Okay, so this is a question that was on the June 2011 paper, as it says up there, and what it's going to do is it's quite a difficult one because it's worth 8 marks, and I'm going to have to get you to look at a source first because that's going to help you. So have a look at this picture that's up here now, okay, and what this source is for is to kind of support you in your answer and get you to think of a reason that answers a question. So the question says, use the source F and your own knowledge. Explain why there are attempts to overthrow the Weimar government. So that source will always show you one reason. So what I'd like you to do now is to press pause on the video, okay, or stop it entirely and look at that event and think, right, what do I know about that event? And start to think what it shows about Weimar's unpopularity. Okay, so you probably identified from that source that one of the reasons the Weimar government was really unpopular was because they kind of allowed the French to invade the Ruhr. Now, they didn't have much opportunity to stop them because they had no armed forces. But the question's not asking you for one, they want a variety. So you get one from the source, but you're going to need to think of some yourself. So I guess the next part is to think of any other reasons, okay, why the government was unpopular. So press stop again. Okay, and see if you can come up with as many reasons as possible. Okay, well done, sure you've done that. Now, next little task is you might want to kind of pare it down a little bit. So I kind of did this bit for you. Now in the exam, you'll need to make this decision yourself. Okay, but here's the 3 I've chosen to write about, because that's what you really need. You need 3 reasons, okay, why there are attempts to overthrow the government. So we've got reason 1 from the source, okay, the invasion of the Ruhr. The second major reason I'd talk about would be the Treaty of Versailles, okay, hugely unpopular and caused also many other problems. All right. The third one I've gone for is rebellions rebellions across Germany. Now, there's others you could have, and at this point, if you want to write about other ones, that's absolutely fine. But for the sake of this kind of first run through, I've kind of given you 3. All right. So what we're going to need to do now is get some information. Alright, so what I'd like you to do is to take each one, okay, and see if you can figure out these things. First of all, just write down almost what happened, and then secondly, try and explain briefly in a couple of sentences why this would make the government unpopular. Okay, so press stop again on the video and have a go at that. Okay, right, you've gathered all that information. I guess the next part, okay, is to write about it, and let's be honest, that's the really tough bit. So the information gathering, I guess, is revision really. Alright, now we've got to write about it. So have a look at this slide here, because it's going to tell you what to do. The first thing you should do when you write about it is state what the reason was, so the invasion of the Ruhr. Then you've got to put in a bit of knowledge and say really what happened, okay? Now that could be 2, maybe 3 sentences, not a huge detail. The third kind of part to it then is explain again over 2 to 3 sentences why this would make the government unpopular. Now that's the bit that people tend to get wrong. Quite good at the describing bit, but the explaining bit you must go into detail, especially if your targets from the exam were to explain in more depth. Okay? If you can at the end, could you add a bit of depth of knowledge as well from what you've seen in the source? Okay? So use in this case the picture of the French soldier to kind of help you out. So that's what we're going to have a go at now, is writing that paragraph. But before you do it, it's going to be really worth looking at that excellence criteria. Because if you're going to put knowledge in, you want it to be detailed and precise. Okay? When you explain, you want that explanation to be sustained, so it to go on for quite a while, and also really relevant to the question. So keep thinking about, does it answer that question? Okay? If you can, and this will come later on when you talk about some more, can you link it to another reason? So can, in this case, you link the invasion of the Ruhr to the Treaty of Versailles, perhaps? Okay? And if you can, use that source to help you a little bit more as well. Okay, so you've got that guidance now. Let's have a go. So press stop, and I'd like you to write a section about the invasion of the Ruhr. Right, okay. So you've now written your first section, so what I'd like you to do now is kind of stop and reflect on it. Okay, so here's another example of what you could have written. So have a quick little look at it. Does it look like yours? Does it have similar ingredients to yours? And do you think it's better or worse? Okay. it might be interesting to reflect whether this answer has met our excellence criteria. So read through it, and as you go, just tick off any of those excellence criteria you think it's met. Okay, so you're probably thinking, that's okay, but it's not amazing. Let's have a look at this second example now, okay, and read through that. Again, doing the same thing. So I'd like you to tick or underline anywhere where you think this fulfills the excellence criteria. Okay? If you haven't got a copy of it, you're just going to have to read through it from the slide, and you can always write down the excellent bits. Okay? So let's have a little go and do that now. Okay, even with that read through then, that should give you an idea of what these paragraphs should look like. Now to get full 8 marks, you've got to give 3 reasons and explain why. Okay, so the final part of this is really going to pull it together, is to explain 2 more reasons. Now I've given you the Treaty of Versailles or rebellions across Germany. Okay, perhaps you could use the structure from the model answer to help you. Okay, but I'd now like you just to finish off to do 2 more paragraphs, one about the Versailles, one about rebellions across Germany, or another reason if you've selected your own. Okay, that should be enough to get an absolutely top-notch answer. Okay, so best of luck, have a go with it, and I'll see you soon on another video.